Welcome to this week's episode of Marijuana Mind with yours truly, Dr. J. Davis, my loquacious co-host, Cynthia Brewer.
Really? Come on. Like you've used that one. He's used that one, ladies,
Oh,
before.
loquacious? That's a repeat?
Yes.
Are you sure
Yes.
about that?
Yes, because it reminded me of Queen Latifah for some reason. I don't know. And I had to look up the word loquacious. And I know when you're like reusing adjectives, and that's poor taste, Justin.
That's very poor taste.
I'm just saying, like, do better.
I will. I'm going to come up with a list, and that will never happen again.
I know. I like so when we get to our 100th episode, I want you to come up with a really good adjective, better than my grammar. Yeah.
Done.
Will do.
Better. It'll be better than my TNT. But more importantly, today, in the background, if the viewers can see, smoking some doobies.
I don't care how many times we mess up today. We are putting this one on YouTube. I don't care that I'm holding a phone in a seedy motel in South Beach, but those women are going to make us famous.
Self-proclaimed cougars, Laura, Costa or Costa? Costa. I'll say it with a little accent, and then it's fine no matter what. We have Laura Costa and Cara Cordoni joining us. Two entrepreneurs, self-proclaimed cougars, and we will get into what you have invented, but little okay, I'll tell her. The Ciro. That's your primary invention.
This was a perfect setup. These women are holding up their very odd looking kind of like what do they call the chamber? Like a chamber pot. It kind of looks like a chamber pot. No lie.
Okay, the first thing that came to mind that I would describe it like a ice bucket.
Rice cooker.
Rice bucket.
Oh.
Yeah. We've had a couple of votes for ice bucket. What was the
rice
other?
Cooker? That's an old-fashioned ice cream
rice
maker.
cooker, planter,
ice cream maker, planter. This could go on all show, ladies.
Yeah, if you did have it on your kitchen counter and you put a plant on it, nobody would know you had a bong cleaner sitting there.
I put flowers in my bong so everyone thinks they're vases until my mom's like, "Are we going to smoke out of that vase over there?" And I'm like, "Yes, Mom, we're totally smoking out of that vase over there."
Like your mom.
So I know. And you're going to love my mom because I feel like we're going to all be lifelong friends, because I have mentioned on this show so many times how anal I am and how I'm a horrible person to get high with if I utilize a glass piece.
That's
because
true.
I know. True. Thank you. And Justin knows I gifted him his first piece, and it's decorative only. It's not even functional. But I'm saying, like, I make us clean it after use. After every use, I clean all of my glass, and I have a collection that would make you guys very proud. I am your guinea pig. I am your target market. Welcome to our show.
Except for, in a way, I'm your target market because she cleans her bongs perfectly. They're beautiful. Whereas if you look at my glassware, it's horrendous. She chastises me every time she sees it. And I'm that lazy person that actually might be your target market.
Okay, I think we both are. No, because we both are. Because if we do clean, like me, chemicals, and if we don't clean, like Justin and his like bachelor pad bong with oh my gosh, you guys would faint. Tell us why we are both the perfect purchaser of this amazing invention.
Yeah, so it sounds like, you're spending a huge amount of time cleaning.
Oh yeah.
Buying plastic bottles of chemicals. And
they smell orangey.
They smell orangey. And so you're a perfect person because you care so much about cleanliness and you're already investing in it. And so instead of using a bunch of, chemicals, you could set your pipes in here or your bong on here at the end of the day, turn it on, go brush your teeth, unload the dishwasher, dump it out, and your bong is clean.
Go again.
I mean, you could clean it after every use if you wanted, and it wouldn't take, we have a timer on here set to 15 minutes because people are lazy, because we want to hit a middle ground between you with your obsessive compulsive cleaning, which we greatly appreciate, And you, with your lack of cleaning, which we totally understand. I mean, when I ask people, what do you do with your dirty pipes, your dirty bong? How many times have we heard it? They're all in a drawer. I throw them away. Why bother? I go get a new one. And so from that extreme to people having glass, or they never use glass they like because they're going to have to clean it. And maybe it's multi-chambered, maybe it's, all the reasons not to. So if you're like, you know what, I'd like to have it clean, but I'm still kind of lazy, I'm only going to clean it once a week, then you pop it on here for 15 minutes. As long as you do it once a week, 15 minutes is enough. Now, if you pull something out of your bong graveyard or your pipe graveyard, we had a farmer at the Emerald Cup Chia who brought, she thinks maybe it had been 6 years since she'd actually cleaned the pipe. Like she had, we use a paper clip, you bust a hole through.
Dude.
Farmer, and she was like, I'm a farmer. I care about my medicine. I grow it. And yet it is such a hassle to clean my stuff and soak it in alcohol and get resin finger and a jar of old alcohol that I'm going to reuse. I don't want to waste it, but it's disgusting. So all that goes away. Like it goes away, you guys. You get some water.
How?
But wait, I think also the important thing to note in the story you just told is that whether it's you're doing it weekly or you have a 6-year-old piece of glass, like maybe somebody yours truly has with built up resin, it's still going to work.
Yeah, you're going to spend longer catching up, right? Yeah. You're not going to hit the button once. You're going to hit the button a few times. But we cleaned Chia's pipe at the Emerald Cup Harvest Ball. And so she brought that completely clogged, disgusting pipe, and she left like seeing the glass and the art and tasting her medicine, her weed again.
Yeah. I love all of this because I know you're going to explain how the ultrasonic and the chemicals, but at the same time, I am a sucker for before and afters. Like I feel like it's just in my bones. Like when you see someone who's like, I'm gonna get a makeover, and then like the before and after, I don't care about the process, but like seeing the dirty like piece and then the after, you get to be part of the after. But I would hate to have to be part of the before. Like,
oh man,
handling
it. Disgusting one was like a mook, a super tall mook, and this gal, she was a woman, had like, she actually preferred that they not clean it. It was like a thing that she actually, and we cleaned it. And what was so interesting, it was a giant bong that was, and it cleaned really fast and really clean, different resins than with our cannabis resins. And it was just like, wow, okay, there you go.
I'm not surprised about the product working effectively. I'm surprised that someone said, I intentionally keep dirty pieces.
I know.
Because what? It enhances it's not like a cast iron pan where it like gets seasoned. I can just imagine it's gonna taste like sadness.
I think that's her attitude though, or that is like, yeah, it's seasoned.
That's what I thought. I thought it was seasoned.
Yeah.
Then get a corncob pipe or something.
Right.
Okay. Or like get something that was like handmade wood, or I don't know, something that was crafted for that type of use.
At least she had a rationalization for it, whereas most of us are just like, oh, it's too hard, no one cares. We don't do that. It's like as if we were wine drinkers who kept one wine glass, shared it, and then poured new bottles of wine in it day after day. And we're like, oh yeah, this is just how we roll. This is cannabis.
Is that not acceptable? Is that not? I put red wine on top of white wine,
and then
if I'm serving somebody.
And then new glass of wine.
You
and
only have to wash the wine glass when it has lipstick on it.
Yeah, I put the Arbor Mist or like the box of wine in a red Solo cup, and off she goes to conquer the world. That's how much wine we drink, So this is awesome. I love the fact that the two of you are a female-owned and operated business, because I am in fact also female. That is neat. Justin is not. I love strong, powerful women supporting strong, powerful women, and I think it's amazing. And it's about time for like sorry, Justin, the female, for our gender to take back the cannabis industry and start kind of cleaning up, because it's a mess.
Yeah, and
So.
I love the ally brothers that have our back, that want that are like, yes.
I think Justin's an ally. Justin is for sure an ally.
Yes, I'm an ally brother.
Right?
In that.
He is a lady lover. He is a lover of ladies and appreciator of ladies, but he can't play in our group with us. It's going to be ladies only, no boys allowed. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we get all the spaces, right?
Unless you bring snacks. You can bring snacks to the meeting, Justin. That's about it. So
there are some service roles, so we could consider you for a service role if that, floated your boat.
I'll be the chef.
We can't eliminate all the men from cannabis, but what we could do is have all the women responsible for all the female plants and all the men responsible for all the male plants and all the seeds.
I love it. I feel like
move forward in a reasonable manner.
Well, I feel like people that cultivate cannabis nowadays, they tend to forget that, like, yes, these are all women, and they're going to be like all of the plants that are cultivating that are yielding this flower for you are all female. So if you treat them a certain way, guess what? They're going to react just like a regular female. So if you put too many of them in a room together and crowd them all in there, they're going to stress out and they're not going to be very pleased with you. If you withhold water or like anything that she's looking for, she's going to retaliate against you. And then also, if you take away the male side for too long and then reintroduce it, they're going to go freaking nuts. And that's how the cannabis plants work. I'm serious. Hemp plants, cannabis plants, you could see sometimes if you introduce a male plant too close to females, they'll start to kind of drift towards it. They love the D or the seed. I don't know how we say it, but yes.
Great farmers are great at basically managing highly sexually frustrated plants, right? Like we're putting out all the resin, we stress them to produce like this beautiful essence of both like pleasure and joy and frustration.
And anger. Yes.
Give it to me.
This is so a girl power episode. I'm freaking loving this right now. So I'm loving it. Now tell us a little bit about, go ahead, Justin. I guess
I just wanted to know a little background, like how did you two meet one another and become partners? Are you, how do you complement one another?
So we
met. That's adorable. Oh my gosh, that was so cute. Look at each other. Look at us.
That's almost a love story. I mean, that's something that we celebrate is that I was living in San Francisco. Laura came down from Eureka in Humboldt. We met at the International Cannabis Conference, and it was like best friendship, love at first sight. I followed her to her room. She had a magic box full of joints and weed, and she was giving it away to veterans and people, and I was just like, wow, no wonder people call her like the weed fairy godmother and Goji and the many nicknames. I
was working on it with some veterans, and I still do, but so I wasn't just letting it fly. I have other people for that.
What year was that happened?
2015.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so, we just had a friendship. I came to visit, and I was looking to move out of San Francisco with my kids. Looked up here, found a house for rent 5 blocks from Laura, and moved in July of 2016. And so I've been up here since then. And she told me about her, cleaning solution to solutions back then. And I was like, I don't know what to say about that. Cool, but okay. My marriage just ended. I just moved here. I don't know if I want to do licensing. Legalization is going to be a nightmare. No one's prepared. It was a very stressful time.
And at the time, my husband and I were trying to get our cannabis permit for a small dry farm here in Humboldt County, which is a nightmare. Unless you're big, you don't really stand a chance. But so this, it was here. It was on the back burner for a long time.
So I moved up here. I'm a leadership and life coach. So I was doing that to make money. And we were working with the green leaf, with the juice. We have a friend who has cerebral palsy, and he can walk when he gets a sufficient amount of juice. And we have a friend with rheumatoid arthritis, and her hands, you know, will completely unclench and she can be pain-free. And so we met a business incubator gal, Jo Marini, through a friend. And we really pitched to her first, like, could we do freeze-dried green leaf as a way to preserve it and get it more distributed? Because right now it's really only good if it's fresh or frozen. And we really wanted to work with cannabis, not hemp. And so we figured out very quickly, without licenses and doing that whole dance, it was no way we could do it. And so we were coming to that realization, and Laura busted out of her bag one of her prototypes and said, Jo, let me tell you about this. And we put a dirty bong on it and we did the thing, and Jo's eyes just lit up, and she was like, that's it. Like, tell me more. Let's get numbers. How did you do it? What is it? What just happened? And so we worked with her, made an agreement with her incubator. At the time, it was called Mother Superior. Right now, it's Mothership. Motherload Materials. Motherload and Motherload Materials. She's been going through her own transformation the last 4 years, as have we. And yeah, we got on board to really figure out how to take a product to market.
And then COVID hit.
The Rona.
Yeah,
Dun,
we
dun,
just
dun.
spent our cash to get things rolling, and all of a sudden, and then the kind of cannabis economy collapsed up here. So
Really?
the struggle to get to this point is really, really real. And the fact that we own still most of the shares is hard to do. I'm sure you've all seen Shark Tank.
Well, and that is where we go next. So,
is that really where you're going?
Well, not Shark Tank,
not exactly.
But effectively, you know, so one of the stories I tell as CEO and front woman, you know, is that we went to we've bootstrapped. We've had a little bit of friends and family. We've, you know, very little, and we've bootstrapped to this point, and we've got a manufacturing prototype. And so we said, let's try an Indiegogo crowdfunding so that we can get community support and find, you know, it is a niche item. We're looking for cannabis users that use glass and care about cleaning things, and or maybe care about environmental impact. So we're getting like, it's a smaller and smaller niche. They're a passionate bunch if we can reach them when we
That's a good video, by the way, the Indiegogo advertisement for funders. It's very cute, you know, the little.
Yeah, we want it to be authentic and have a mix of all the things. Thanks, we appreciate that.
Oh,
yeah, it's so
yeah,
hard,
you
guys.
you do have a very niche group of people,
but it's a worldwide niche.
Yeah, of course.
Worldwide niche at this point. If we could catch an algorithm, catch into some of the internet opportunity, South America, especially Colombia, Peru, Argentina, those countries want everything that's fresh and new and environmental, because this takes the place of every single bottle of 420 or alcohol you would ever buy. You never need them again.
I love that part, because
me too.
I hate having to stock. You can't buy that stuff in bulk. I mean, maybe you could, but like, I just don't want to. And then at the same time, like trying to go all natural to clean, you're still being asked to use solvents. So, and salt and all that stuff. And so the fact that it doesn't use any chemicals is really cool. The fact that it's quick and there's not as much intricate work, because I've got the pipe cleaners and I've got like the tools and all the stuff that actually have to be done in conjunction with the chemicals. So it's a process. And the whole reason I do is because I display my glass. I'm proud of my glass. I've spent a lot of money on glass. I've had glass gifted to me, and I've had like some pieces that I, you know, and I name them all. I'm like, that's Kelly Ripa and Jeff Sessions and Pocahontas
and them all now. I want to see
well, they're displayed prominently in my office, which is my closet office. So it's got my vanity, my clothes, and then my office stuff. And I display them right in front of the window. And if the window's open on any evening, you can see. But I used to have them displayed on my patio, and but I was afraid someone was going to break it. But yeah, I have a lot of glass, but I'm very picky about my glass. Like, I'm not just going to just go and buy a bunch, but every piece I have, I take very good care of. And that's because I don't want to display dirty crap.
Yeah.
And now my house, not the cleanest. The floors are covered in dog hair, but my glass is on point.
You're not smoking out of your floor.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
So hashtag gold.
The nice thing about how this works is it's called cavitation, ultrasonic power. When you put a sound wave into water at the right frequency, and the only way you're going to know which frequency is to do a whole lot of experimentation, a whole lot of R&D to see where you cut resins at. The sound waves explode. It's called,
they create bubbles.
It's a little bubble, and the bubble pops and it explodes and shatters the resin off the glass. So when you mentioned rock salt a few minutes ago, and if you ever put rock salt in a chambered bong, you can never get that shit out.
No, you can't.
And what this does is it gets in every little nook and cranny and crevice. And
so because
you will smoke out of all that glass once you have this option.
And the good thing also is that it can double to remove kidney stones if you have kidney stones.
Okay, so that's actually, although he was joking, but I do have a question.
Is used in so many things, and it's like there's opportunities for ultrasound to come out of industrial application to more home consumer use. So you have your jewelry cleaner, which is an ultrasonic cleaner. Your bong doesn't fit in it. It's not round. It's not cute. And it does not have a lifetime warranty. It does not have a biodegradable housing. So if it does end up in the landfill or in the ocean and you don't return it to us to be repaired, something, accidents happen, it will biodegrade. It will biodegrade, still takes 3 to 5 years, but that's instead of like 30,000 years.
Yeah, plastic bag.
That's the housing. And when we realize from my perspective as someone who's interested in whole systems thinking, permaculture, that really turns me on to solve the puzzle of taking responsibility for as many of the components going in and going out. And it's anti-capitalistic. Like I want to amplify, I don't want to extract value. And so going into a business, like I've worked for financial services, I've done middle management, I've never built a thing. Like when we were like, I'm going to take responsibility for like birthing an object onto this planet. So I was like, I don't want to do it if I can't feel good about it. I don't want a $50 piece of crap you're going to throw away in 2 months or 2 years. I want something that I can be proud of when I explain it to my kids and when and so we had questions like, can we make it of hemp plastic? Well, we can't yet because to our knowledge, there's no UL certified plastic made of hemp, which means it's gone through all of the proof that it'll be fire retardant. There's a lot of electronic requirements on making, a product. So right now, no, because someone hasn't paid to do the R&D to get the certifications. So if we were wildly successful, we're like, wow, what if we were the first to be made of actual hemp plastic? Or maybe we do the research and we're like, hemp plastic's not the answer. What's the answer is this, which is the most least impactful in all the ways we can measure, right? So right now we were like, let's do recycled plastic. No, you can't do recycled plastic. No. It's disgusting. Recycled plastic off gases. It's dirty. It will not be certified for a consumer electronic. So it's like, okay.
It's the electronic piece that's prevented, because I have a hemp grinder that's the only grinder I ever use. It's made of hemp. It's biodegradable. I like that it doesn't put heavy metals back into my medicine. And because I have a laboratory that tests for all that crap that you don't want in your medicine. I'm not going to go and introduce more crap into the medicine, because in Florida, it's not the best. So my grinder that's the only one I ever use, but I do clean it with the chemicals as well, because it does get that stuff on the outside. I wonder if I could put the grinder in there.
That's a great question, because it does work really well with glass and metal. And it does not work well with silicone, like yours collapsible silicone, but it'll clean your trim scissors. It'll clean.
Yeah, that was a question, is could you use it for other things that would fit in it, or other glass objects? And it sounds like yes.
You can clean your jewelry in it.
Yeah, but you can't clean your jewelry or your bong in a jewelry cleaner. The other thing is that the use of ultrasonic is expanding all the time. And when we first got started, we were discussing infusing drinks and stuff with it, which is that's not effective. But I did see looked like a pretty reputable video the other day about extracting mushrooms with ultrasonic.
I am a psilocybin advocate and user.
So you could speed up the process of like taking your ground mushrooms and infusing your alcohol. So instead of being 8 weeks on the thing, you could use the ultrasonic to.
I just go like this.
These are generalizations. Please, nobody go do your own research, but that is a direction that.
Just Google it. It's on. It's out there. It's out there.
Google Does this sterilize as well as clean, or it's just cleaning?
It's cleaning. If you want to sterilize, you could sterilize with like alcohol in it or something, but that would negate. We can't prove that it's sterilizing anything. We can see that you start out with something that you can't see through, and you end up with something that looks brand new.
And again, some of these are limitations of the fact that we have not found the partner to say, hey, take 30% of this company and give us capital so we can further the research. Talk to the lab, say clean it, and then go to your. So let's test it before. Right. And then let's test it afterwards. Honestly, we've done home kits and we've done Petri dish, but we have not had the funding to do that level of the R&D, which is all.
I will work with you. We will figure something out. I will help you in that capacity, because it is important, and it's something where it's so little off of our shoulders to be able to provide so much onto your brand. So that we'll talk offline, but I will make sure that Kaija Labs is going to help your group with the R&D phase. The one thing that comes to mind though, and this is only because I'm not an analytical person. I'm not a chemist. I am complete opposite, but I work and own part of the lab, and this is just what I do now. So it's just odd. But my biggest concern is like, how do I help and support our clients when things go wrong? So help me understand what ultrasonic could do. Is it possible that it could remediate issues in cannabis that somebody might have, like with microbiological contaminants?
That's a great question. And there is a product, I'll send you the link that's out there. It claims with ultrasonic that it's removing pesticides from strawberries.
Okay,
and
so if that's the case, that's easily proven. We can do a before and after with that. If you can prove that amazing little thing can eliminate any of the problems that my clients usually face, which are usually pesticides aren't a problem because they don't realize that they don't actually contaminate their own crop. They do it inadvertently or by accident.
So the situation here, those would have to be submerged in water, right? So the strawberries are
put it though?
Under water. Well, that would be a great
Could
place.
Could it be like a sous vide? Like a sous vide where you vacuum seal the bag?
A dry test.
It's worth testing.
It's worth sitting on millions of dollars if you can find out if that thing takes out pesticides, microbiological contaminants, and heavy metals. 3 things that can't be remediated out really easily. Micro can, but it takes a lot of time. Solvents can burn off.
But you would need to create it in a much larger scale if that was the case, right?
We do know that
R&D.
It'll separate resins from plant material. I'm a hash maker. I have a lot of experience making hash. And I know that this will separate small batch. You take a jar like this, put your shit in it, excuse me, and fill it up, and it's going to separate it. So that to think that it would separate the pesticides too, it might be a way to find out what's in your weed by doing a sample run and then testing the water.
It could, yeah, but I mean, testing with us is going to tell you what's in there. It's once we give them the unfavorable news, being able to show, like, we do have a lot of resources at hand to say, okay, from our experience, our clients have benefited from using this or that. But let's say it's a micro contamination with a crop and they test with us and they don't pass, they have an opportunity to remediate. And sometimes that means more time for everything to die off, because it was too M-word or damp, or it was, multiplying at an excessive level. But, if they had the opportunity to put something in there and eliminate one of the three most problematic contaminants, then you guys are sitting on a gold mine. You need to patent your shit.
So ultrasonic technology exists. Like, our design is an innovation. Ultrasonic technology.
Yeah.
But the utility patent of how we're applying it to the cannabis industry.
Exactly.
And using it. The other thing that's unique is that what we're doing is ultrasonic. You have to put your thing in a tank.
Submerge it. So we get a lot of comments. What we did was we turned the bong into the tank.
Right. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
I was wondering that, and then you explained that in the video and made a lot of sense. But
a little bit of water. So you would have to have a gigantic ultrasonic cleaner. They make them.
Oh, sure. For auto parts, and there are these big submerging tanks, and even like comments usually from young bros that are just like, oh, I have a 10-liter ultrasonic at home. And I'm like, yeah, but your girlfriend doesn't. Like, she doesn't want lab material.
You don't want to immerse it, because why are you cleaning the outside of it?
Well, she might say because your hands are dirty.
Yeah, you're going to wipe it down either way. You're going to wipe it down. So.
Okay. I'm thinking like, I'm going to be full disclosure here. I don't know how ultrasonic stuff works. Like,
no. So
that's the part.
No. I started the whole thing, and Laura's hacking shit and making ultrasonic cleaners out of cookie tins and out of angel food cakes. And finally it dawned on me.
It's a frequency, right?
Yeah. It dawned on me that, like, maybe I should understand what a transducer is while I'm ordering them. And so I looked into it, and my simple answer is it's hippie crystal magic.
That's what I thought. I was like, when do I get my shaman? If I order one, does the shaman come inside of it?
Right. So they're quartz crystals that are in a metal casing, and they used to be natural crystals. Now they're man-generated, crystals, but the structure is the same, right? We're not mining them and tearing up mama looking for these. So they put them in, and then they put electricity, and the electricity goes into the crystal, and the crystal sings. She sings, and that creates sound waves that cause these little bubbles to appear in the water, like tiny, tiny, tiny bubbles.
How do you adjust the frequency?
Oh my God, there's like
that would be so expensive.
Well, no, we did.
Well, yeah, we adjusted.
I mean, you measure it,
but you
measure it, and then you test.
The variable is out of the question.
Laura has a professor at Cal Poly Humboldt, because she graduated from there, or he was supervising your apprenticeship.
I had an electrical apprenticeship, and this gentleman was teaching the apprenticeship classes in the evening. But he actually retired from Cal Poly Humboldt as a electrical engineer. So I went back to my old teacher with all of this, and he said, wow. Yeah. And he
helped us.
He helped us a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had, consultants and stuff on that, on the level of, I
have been told so many times that it doesn't work.
It can't be done.
And I've got 2,000 bongs that I've cleaned, and it works. And I've never burned one up.
And if they're cracked, the crack doesn't increase. We have cracked ones we run repeatedly. If people things that happen are people will like break the down stem because you've let it get so gnarly, dude, it'll break. So that is like,
not me, but Justin has, yes.
Right. Those of us out there with
I can get them out.
Cannabis habit. Well, you can get them out, but also, you know, we've had it where you put it on for a little while, it loosens it up and you can pull it out so that you can properly let it clean.
So we would just put the water to here and then that would loosen the down stem, pull it out, cork it and fill it up. Cool, huh?
Justin,
Laura,
I want one of these, Justin. Like, I want one.
You have eight days left to get on the backers on Indiegogo. And
what's 8 days left?
8 days, February 3rd, our campaign on Indiegogo. It closes.
Justin.
So we're like encouraging people to jump on. So what I was going to say about crowdfunding is that we were like, okay, before we go to, you know, investigate all the partners who we might want to really like get married to in this project, right? It's a big deal. If any of you that have run businesses or tried to like, there's so many ways your relationship can go wrong. And so we're really looking for like values aligned and all of that. And then it's also capitalism. So I've said, are we still here?
You are still here.
Oh, good. Sorry, Laura's, where's the Zoom? Sorry, we got lost.
It's okay. We found you. You're still on.
Okay.
Yeah, but
we can't see anything. Okay. Sorry, producers.
They wanted me to buy something.
That crowdfunding is part of our proof of concept. Now, we both had fantasies that we would sell 5,000 units on Indiegogo just because it's awesome and we're awesome. And then we discovered that the world of algorithms and marketing, and that's some real shit, and we need help. And so the Indiegogo has not popped the bubble, I would say, as far as reaching our target people, glass, environmental, cannabis, because it's also a vice category. Even though we're not selling you tobacco or weed, we're considered a vice product because we're cleaning a product that you use with a vice product. So the prohibitions, we've had so many ads rejected. My account, so anyway, all of those things are where we're currently at. And so the Indiegogo, we're like, okay, as good as we can get it, then we can go say, look, there are people who believe in us and believe in the product. Let's cut a good deal, because capitalism's a little rapey, and it'll be a little less rapey if we go in as a group.
I love the analogy, and it is a little rapey. And you do want to keep the integrity of your beliefs intact, and you don't want to fall to the dark side, because they have snacks there, and you'll never get out.
And so gosh, it's sure fun, you know, it's quite alluring.
Laura, how did you come up with this idea, and then how did you actually go from idea to building it?
You know, I spend a lot of time in grow rooms and in trim rooms, and there's a lot of needs. I have built more than just this. I have several other things out in the garage that I created.
She's an inventor.
And I started out just with a lot of parts and pieces that needed to be cleaned regularly. And I got a parts cleaner from Harbor Freight. That was not the answer. I got a cleaner from Harbor Freight. That was not the answer. I have several boxes of them that I have taken apart to prove that that was not the answer. But it was really about having a need, and I made a few of them and I used them, but I got busy, like I said earlier, with trying to get my cannabis cultivation permit and everything for a family farm, and it got not the attention that it should have gotten from the beginning. And the more and more and more that I learned about how our industry works and the amount of waste that's in the cannabis industry, I just think that anytime that somebody like us comes along and said, hey, we can reduce waste, a lot of waste in the cannabis industry, nobody paid attention.
So far.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my gosh, everybody will.
You know, well, yeah, we're like so on fire and passionate about it, and we know people on fire and passionate, but again, there's still a niche group.
But not really. Okay, so my mind is like, the wheels are turning, which is actually very rare for me, because There's not a lot going on up there. But here's what I'm thinking, because like, okay, I totally respect and understand the fact that it can clean glass, and it's almost a one-trick pony. And unfortunate for you guys, if it only can do one thing for a group of people really, really well, it has to also be considered like a luxury item, because there is a cheaper alternative, and it sucks for the environment and it's horrible for the industry. But at the end of the day, if somebody comes down to your price point or the 420 bottle and a little bit of elbow grease, you know, it's hard to show them that this is something with sustainable impact. Like, you can show that this is going over time, you're better for the environment because you're using this over this.
Well,
but I'm thinking, like, in Florida, for instance, we have got to, as a laboratory, we have got to pull products off the shelf that are final product packaging. The amount of waste that we generate because we are pulling final products as if it was a grocery store shelf is obscene. Okay. And we've tried to recycle with our clients. We've tried to instigate these programs, and they won't do it. So we're taking a package that's, you know, held like a jar of cannabis that's held it for a couple hours, a couple days, and we toss it in the trash because now we have the sample that we're going to go homogenize and run. The other thing is that we're pulling cartridges off of in the box, and we have to get the medicine out of the cartridge. And that's difficult because recovery in that little thing and so viscous is so small. I mean, it's out of 100%, it's about, I would say 60% recovery on the good day. And it's too viscous and we aren't allowed to heat it. So if we can't heat something, we can't make it less viscous to, you know, liberate it out of the cartridge.
Do you think that this would liberate it?
Yes, I do.
But does it matter that it would have to be submerged, or you're going with your sous vide idea?
I'm going with the sous vide idea, or go ahead and submerge it. Water doesn't affect the outcome of the test, and whatever, water and oil don't mix.
Yeah.
Whatever's left over is going to be the material that I would be testing anyways. And I don't test for water. I'm not testing for like the integrity of the water. It would float up to the top, or it would be recoverable. It would just have to be more along the lines of like a liner that we put in there that we could remove so that a contaminant in one product doesn't contaminate another. But we'd be able to get like a pretty good recovery out of those glass cartridges, and very efficiently, because the way we're doing it right now, if we can't heat it, then we're essentially centrifuging or trying to push it to one side and collect it. But I mean, 30 to 60% recovery, we're losing a lot of medicine in there, and it's just ridiculous. And then of course we throw that cartridge away when they could probably like maybe like treat it and use it again. But I don't know the regulations behind that. But I'm thinking selfishly from the laboratory's perspective, the team would be so grateful to have something that made their life easier.
Because you can't heat it. That's interesting. And
we aren't allowed to heat.
And you can't use a solvent either, obviously.
No, we can't. And so to me, we have 10 labs in 9 states, and we've got a variety of different regulations that require us to pull different types of things. Some of it's not final product, but they're all leaning that way. And then also regulators that pull packaged product off of the shelf to test for verification, they would love stuff like this because it makes their life easier. They're testing final product shelf test, you know, in California, in Florida, they'll do it. And then in Massachusetts and Oregon and Washington and Colorado and Nevada and I said Massachusetts and yeah, Oregon especially, they just found a bunch of stuff wrong with product that they pulled off the shelf. So every regulator could use it, and then laboratories could definitely probably use it. I just have to look into it and start R&D. So Justin, if you could just buy one for Cynthia and just beep bop boop bop in the internet machine. I'm in Miami. I can't do it.
Look who came up with the entrepreneurial application today.
Right.
What?
You took my role.
Yeah, good call.
All I'm saying is I think I need one for R&D and I need it. And then also if it doesn't work, I need it for my glass.
Right.
Because I need it. And then I'll clean yours for free, Justin. We're going to make this happen. We don't know what the price point is, but Justin can afford it. He's a doctor.
Well, and so that's the thing is that pre-COVID, you know, we thought we were like going to have like $100 retail point and that we could do quadruple bottom line, build the company, all these things with like that. COVID like derailed us, not just because of shortages, price hikes, but we're a tiny fish. We want to do a $5,000
or 5,000 unit.
I mean, sorry, 5,000 unit run. Wish it was $5,000. We'd have done it already. A 5,000 unit run. We're a startup. We don't have a bunch of capital to throw at a manufacturer. And so we wanted to manufacture stateside, and that would be great. But right now we're in Taiwan because there are ultrasonic manufacturers who are established, who can do Q&A, and we can get through this process of bringing this product to market. But they're also like, we have big fish, you're always at the end of the line. And things like, we wanted this bowl to be recycled stainless, totally possible if we could buy enough for 50,000 units. They don't sell, they won't. So like the barriers for small businesses to get started with ethics and value, like they're unending. And then let's just talk about being a woman in manufacturing, a woman in technology. Like, I really came in naive and not having assumptions about how I was going to be treated. And I mean, it's just the same as everywhere. It's terrible. It's
misogynistic pieces of shit run the world sometimes.
It's
now,
like, good guys about it, and they're embarrassed for their brothers. You know what I mean? Like, I see, you get it. It's like, it's just, I had a guy yell at me, a product developer, on an interview on the phone. I did a little test when I put in my round. We've had to fire one group because it was just all bad. And then I was doing research, and so I would put in these inquiries to these product developers, and I would put like an unrealistic date. So I'm like, I'm going to put on purpose. So I was like, yeah, we want to get it to market by this point. And so this guy gets on the phone, and he's asking questions, and then he starts yelling at me, literally yelling at me that my date is unrealistic. And
give me a name.
All right.
I'll take care of it.
All right.
Give me a name. I'll find it, whatever he loves, and he'll watch me kill it. That's not acceptable.
And then they followed up even. And I was like, I can't even talk to you people. Like, live in your bubble, move on. Then we had a young guy, product developer near LA. And we're 3 beautiful women on the phone and or on the Zoom. And he's like, blah, 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 this and that. He almost got hung up on because he said, well, I want to make sure you ladies understand.
With your little lady brain, okay?
He was mansplaining to you on the Zoom.
He was mansplaining.
There's shipping costs. Like, you need to have shipping, like that.
That's when they send it across different places.
And so if you want it to go from here to there, little lady, then you're going to need to pay for that.
Money.
And almost hung up, but I'm so glad we didn't, because we got to this. He's like, your circuit board is like this big. I've worked on circuit boards this big.
I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, my circuit board just shorted. I don't think I understand where he was going with that. So does that mean we have a bigger dick than he has? Or
I mean,
does that mean
did you tell him that if you just rubbed your circuit board a little bit, it would expand?
Yeah, like Justin, of course you have to make like a horrible man joke when we're here, like lady promoting.
No, that's a Jewish. I'm Jewish. It's okay to make that kind of joke. It's like
it is actually joke. Because I know the Jew in you is
it's like a moil thing.
Yes, everybody's a little Jew on the show. Here's the thing. I love the fact that you guys are. I love the fact that you guys are willing to openly talk about some of these hurdles, because a lot of the time I feel like there's women that have faced the same exact thing, and they don't want to talk about how they may or may not have been treated because they don't want it to look like they are weak because somebody treated them. Everybody is subject to this shit, and it happens all the time.
The microaggressions are unending, honestly. And I, as a single mom, as someone with PTSD, I have had to make a decision to run the business, really uprooting my conditioning to make everything my fault, right? Like, to avoid conflict, to like the ways I've learned to survive and avoid the like, are you crazy? Like just the freedom to speak at ease because I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I feel I'm going to be attacked. And it's true, but then you get to a point where you're like, that's okay, and I can step away and not engage and not when I'm not resourced. I can take time if I need to sleep all day one day, like I have to make that okay. And I also am having to find a way that is, it's walking a line of transparency that isn't trying to manipulate it. Like there's so much manipulation in marketing around like, oh, have feelings and now do the thing I want anyway. And I'm really sensitive to all of that. And so it's this ongoing process of both personal development, stepping into leadership, having courage, speaking up, and then this amount of tenderness and safety creating. And I just am like, can we talk about it? Because I'm tired of trying to put on a show and make it look good all the time, because it doesn't work for me anymore. I can't perform all of that anymore, and maybe it's menopause and maybe it's like, who fucking cares what it is? I'm grateful for it. It's awkward. It's like adolescence again, only better, different. I don't know.
I'm going to be there one day. I feel like you could be my life coach because I feel like I could be in that really secure mindset one day. But right now I'm like, if you mess with my love stuff, if you mess with my friends, my family, my money, or if anything that I give a shit about, I'll hunt you down like a rabid dog and just go ham on you. I'll light everything you love on fire. But then also there's like, if something happens, if some dude is like trying to mansplain his way through a podcast or something, like I'll just shove it down and not address it, because nothing bad has ever come out of just pushing all your feelings down and then never addressing them. So I'm hoping to just continue to continue to live my life like just dealing by not dealing. And I think I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine, ladies. I'm going to be fine.
No, that you can't go wrong, honestly.
Come out.
Honestly, you can't go wrong. Like whatever choice, it's a choose your own adventure, and our choices have consequences, but we don't make you just can't go wrong. It's like that's part of my coaching is really, I spend a lot of time being with people in a non-judgmental way, allowing them to be exactly who and what they are so we can start fighting ourselves and move from creating internal safety in our personal. I mean, I coach people on personal, business, all of that, because you're a whole person. If I squeeze you here, the same shit's going to come out as if I squeeze you there.
That's adorable. That's a great. I'm picturing this and I'm like, this is a different type of therapy that I have not experienced, that I want to see. I want to have this experience. And Justin, what are your thoughts on like some of the giant barriers that women in not just the cannabis industry, but in manufacturing and some of these like phallic forward lines of work? How do you think men manage to treat us so unfairly so frequently?
Well, I don't think it's just women. I think just minorities in general,
I just
face a lot
wanted
of these
you
same challenges.
We're a minority now?
Well,
according to Florida.
In business, not on the planet, we're not a minority.
We're not,
but in terms of
non-white.
power and in terms of right, yeah.
We are in Florida. Yeah, we're not a gender. We're a minority. Like we can, they count women as a minority in Florida.
Sorry.
So it's just
right in business.
It's horrible.
It's a theme that many people encounter.
I like to put it in context that women had to have a permission and or a male signee on their bank accounts as late as 1973.
Really?
So
yes. How do you not know this?
1973 is how. I mean, if you would have said 19, like 23.
No,
that sounds more believable.
No, but that's why
you couldn't open
to frame it as to how backwards it's been for so long. And when you think about things like women being property, the right to have the vote, to have your own bank account, pockets and clothing, that we're still like really early in this process. Like we're not far along. Like you're surprised that it was 1973. That's
I'm not.
That's right. And so to remind our men friends and our allies or the people in power, whoever they might be, like, yes, it is a struggle. Yes, we do have to be loud and remind you and educate you. And yes, we love you. And yes, it's in everybody's best interest, but no, we're not putting up with the bullshit anymore. No.
Well, yeah, with the whole like,
well, we're not though.
It's still happening.
Yes,
if you think about the fact that civil rights has been around far longer than women's rights, because the argument for that started a lot earlier. Now we did have, suffrage and all that, but 1972, there was Roe v. Wade, right? There was, you can open your bank, ladies with money is allowed. You can have your own monies and do all of that stuff. But then we go backwards and we repeal Roe v. Wade, and then they still let us have a bank account, which is nice. We should write a letter thanking them for that.
I think we shouldn't draw their attention to it. They just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Yeah, it's a slippery fucking slope.
They're gonna take it back. Like, there's no way.
Handmaid's Tale.
Like we're in Northern
Oh my gosh, I
California,
love that
so like
we're gonna be the holdout.
Dude, I'm obsessed with Handmaid's Tale. Like, oh my gosh, it's an obscene. Sorry, Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, this is a little. I'm curious. Does the name Ciro have an origin?
It does, and then we found out it meant more than we thought. So naming a thing, we had to go through a few names because you can't always have the first name you like or the name that you try. And so we came up with Ciro because it is circular and we have a circular business model. And so it's like a Latin root of circle, Ciro. And then we were happy with it.
Isn't it a god?
I didn't find a god, but Laura happened to jump into the Urban Dictionary and find that Ciro
is a very attractive man. Loved by everyone, can't make a mistake. Women fawn over him. They won't even fight over him because they know he's of such incredible something.
I've never heard this.
He does well in business and love and
what
everything.
A Ciro. What a Ciro.
He's just
that. But it's gendered.
So,
is there a Cira?
Yeah.
Can I be a Cira?
I think I looked that up, but I might have been higher than I am today. So yes.
I love it. There's a double entendre.
Everybody needs one.
Get yourself a Ciro.
I wrote a funny little story about a couple of women being overheard talking about using their Ciro, and the husband thinks that they're in a group affair relationship with a man named Ciro. So I'll send you an email. I'll send it to you.
I don't need a man to use the Ciro at home alone.
No.
It's a lonely night. Get a box of wine, get my Ciro,
go to town. Circle back to Ciro for a minute. One of the things that's been interesting, and I'd love your opinion about this because, so all of this works without any chemicals, any soap. Okay, so resins pop off of your glass and now they're floating around in your water. So ideally, what we've done is add an emulsifying soap so that the oils will bind. And when you pour it out, it doesn't stick to your glass. I pour it over my hand, and those chunks of resins, they don't stick to my hand. In the alcohol and you get that nasty smear, it will, just because it's emulsified, right? It's bound, so it doesn't stick to your plumbing. Now, we love this. We have an amazing woman who is a chemist, nano, blah, 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 biodegradable, septic, earth friendly. We know the sources. That's fine. You don't have to use it, especially if you're cleaning daily. You probably don't need it. The criticism we get is soap is a chemical.
So stop using the chemical. And like when you're done cleaning the bong, where does everything go? Where is it?
I mean, I said pour it in your garden, ideally. Pour it in your
No,
house.
I mean, like it's separated from the walls of the glass.
And then it's floating around.
It's floating
in the
top.
water, in the well.
Looks like a lava lamp.
It looks like a lava lamp if you watch some of the videos. Yeah.
And they don't want to pour that down the sink because it will stick to the drain. I think I have oil stuck to the bottom of the kitchen sink right now from making some edibles last weekend. It's still there.
You could pour that directly into your house plant. I mean, our farmer friends are
That's what I would do.
Because then you're creating a circle.
Well,
But
yeah,
then
the
it
circle
might stick to the glass as you're pouring it out would be the conundrum.
Okay, but I'm saying if you were to not use any soap and just to pour out the contents, it will stick to the inside of the glass?
It could when you're pouring it out. Yeah.
Because it's a big chunky resin. I mean, it's a sticky resin floating in water. It's not emulsified. It's just.
Why don't you just take one of those bamboo skewers that you put like shrimp on and collect it all and then pull it out and then jump out the water? I have to see this in practice and I'll be able to help you come up with something. But there's got to be like, maybe you could put like a ball inside the water and it all sticks to the ball, but you don't know until you try it. That is a good idea.
But then you'd be wasting a piece of silicone. You have to clean I don't know.
No,
we got to brainstorm.
Yeah.
I know. Come with it. It could be reused because you could just wipe cannabis oil off of silicone. But if it wasn't silicone and it was something else, then yes, it would have to be multi-purpose.
You wipe it off.
Silicone could be reusable.
You can just wipe it off
with what?
Paper towel.
I mean, the problem then you could suction it out, but then you're just introducing a whole level of complication. And this is such a simple thing.
It needs to be something
99.9 of that chemical opportunity anyway. So I can't feel too bad about that little tiny bit of dry soap that we're using.
I wouldn't feel bad.
It's a soap tab. And it's like an Alka-Seltzer, so it fizzes and it's fun. So like, I'm okay.
Would any soap work?
What's that?
Would any soap work?
Any soap works. We use Dr. Bronner's, people use whatever. We want something that's as ethical and cool and that can go with it, but you don't have to use that at all. You don't have to use soap. You don't have to use our soap. And you can use any soap.
One of the
is it's a degreaser.
I mean, I wouldn't really, classify Dr. Bronner's, for example, as a chemical. It's made of all oils, really, isn't it? Just
the only problem with Dr. Bronner's in our world is the plastic bottle, but you can go and reuse your plastic bottle down here at our store and fill it up again. I do it, because I use it.
I used to refill mine at Rainbow.
The real difficult thing about this is that we have been criticized by our statement that we could revolutionize the cleaning industry and get rid of a lot of those plastic bottled products. Well, somebody's making a living off of that. And we actually got shamed a little bit for taking food off someone else's plate. That person,
I'm sorry.
The person that owns that company would
think we want to go here. I don't think we want to go here.
No.
Okay. It's okay though. Yeah. No matter what, you guys know better. That's not the case, right? Okay.
It's
you guys are trying to run and start a business. You're not trying to make billions. You're trying to make enough to live a sustainable lifestyle with good ethics and die knowing that like you did not make the earth worse while your time here
and
was spent.
Exactly. And then you brought up Rainbow, the ultimate fantasy. I've been a member of Cooperation Humboldt and interested in transition movement and worker ownership as, one of the great equalizers of predatory capitalism. And so the ultimate fantasy would be to inspire and or help develop a worker-owned manufacturing co-op in the Emerald Triangle in Humboldt County, in where we are, where this could be assembled, because it is actually made to be repaired. It is made
to come apart.
So it's like we wanted it to be kind of old school in that way. Like you could probably fix it yourself. We can fix it, and also we could have it assembled here, and people are upset with the price point. I was going there, which is, right now it's set to retail for $250 with a lifetime warranty it pays for itself in a couple of years if you're obsessive with your cleaning or moderate with your cleaning, and all those benefits. But $250 is like not a price point. It is a luxury item. It is crossing into,
though, in the cannabis realm, in the $400 range. The Evo.
Dude, don't feel guilty about $250. Like at the end of the day, there is the elbow grease and the $420. Yes, you could do that, but you're right. Justin, okay, I'm pointing because he's up here on my screen. Justin wants a pipe that's like $300. He can buy one. He can probably whittle one himself for free. Very nice elbow grease in there. Okay. Or he could buy this one that's like really pimp looking for $300. Now, sometimes those who are into the luxury stuff also love the convenience. So I'm willing to pay a little more for the convenience of not having to get all the supplies and to just do that. Now, it does not have to be people with large amounts of disposable income. It could just be people that, hey, I smoke a lot of weed. You smoke a lot of weed. Let's find out how to make weed smoking less, taxing on your upper body or whatever. I would buy it. Justin's going to buy it for me because my birthday's coming up.
And on Indiegogo, as backers, one is $65 off. It's $185. If you buy two, it goes down to 30%. And we have a dispensary or lounge or wholesale at 10. So basically they're like $125 each if someone were to back us for 10. So yeah, like that's where we are.
Well, we have a lot of listeners across the country, but across the world, because you were talking about Colombia or different parts of the world that really do see the value in this. We have listeners in Dubai and Denmark and Israel and everywhere. So you're going to have a lot of reach, and this show will be like not just visible online, but able to be downloaded from anybody who has the ability to listen to podcasts. So go ahead, Justin.
But you might need to adjust the price depending upon the country, because they're, what they can afford is going to be different potentially in
and
Colombia
shipping costs.
Here.
The shipping costs.
Oh my gosh, that is like that's one of the other increases. If you think about the last 3 years, what's happened to shipping and timing, and like, there's so many elements to dealing with material reality versus like knowledge and other kinds of things that we value. So yeah, we're excited for everybody that's on the journey with us and that is inspired.
Definitely.
One of the things is just to get to talk about all of these considerations and make them a normal part of how we consider our businesses. Are there places I'm throwing something away that I could do better? Not to be shamed or burdened, because in my experience, it feels good. Like it's fun. And so not everybody's like that. I get turned on by connecting all the dots and having the circuit and be like, cool, okay. And now this one's still a little not right, like I can't take accountability for all the metal in this, thing, which is why we're trying to keep it alive and not have it ever go in the landfill. I look at my kids and I talk about, all the technology and the resources and how we are going to need solutions to stop what we're doing, So how can I be the model of that? And then people smarter and more powerful and more influential and will also hopefully resonate and ripple, I just want to be a big
yeah. You get turned on by weird stuff, but everybody has their kink. So we're going to end the show on that because that was awesome.
You have no idea.
I love both of you more than breathing. I would like for you to adopt me. And I'm 37, but like I could be adoptable.
You're adoptable.
And
totally.
And I'm going to make Justin buy me one of these. So for my birthday, Justin. And then it's fine.
September 6th.
September 4th. It's always coming up in my mind. So like technically yours is before mine, right?
And if we got massive funding, we could get it to you by then. So that's where we're the other message to people out there who are maybe in
Whoa.
cannabis or who have, we're looking for partnerships and or investors. So
we do have that too. We do have those listeners as well.
Yeah.
Some of our tried and true, Justin, you're gonna have to get out your Rolodex and start calling in some favors.
Well, this would be pretty cool. Cool project.
You're doing them a favor because they get to hang out with us. So
That's right.
Mind them.
Yeah, I love that.
Directly to Humboldt County now. You know what people would have paid for that in the years past?
A lot. We've got 2 cougars and a Ciro, and I feel like you guys are going to be super famous, and I can't wait to be a part of it and see what happens next. So whatever we can do to help support you guys to get the messaging out. If you all of a sudden one day tomorrow decide to make a totally different widget, like, let us know.
Absolutely.
We'll have your back, because we think what you're doing is phenomenal, and I love that we got to know you and our listeners get to know the people behind the brand before it gets launched and introduced to the masses. They can actually get to know you, so that's a very rare experience. But we appreciate you coming on, and thank you again for telling us all about this.
Thank you.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
All right, Cynthia Brewer signing off for the Marijuana Mind. Justin Davis, J-Dog, J Nasty, whatever you're going by this week. Go ahead.
Keeping it green as always.
You said keeping it cream?
No.
Justin.
No.
You said keeping it green?
Keeping it green.
Slow it down and do it in the deep voice.
Keeping it green. No, now I said cream, damn it.
Yeah, you did. Dirty.
Keeping it goodbye.
Keeping it green, keeping it yeah, dude, you're just gonna have to try again. Be better. Okay. That's the lesson. Bye, you guys.